everyone. Here is Nugs of Aaero.
Hey everybody, welcome to the start of day 3, Link Up 2. So excited to be here, showing off Aaero. I'm Mr. Bumbleclaw, also known as Nugs. With me I got another rhythm game aficionado, Abysmal Cosmos, with us.
Hi, I'm Abysmal Cosmos. I played Aaero for Block and Beast in the East. You may have remembered that if you follow the Aaero and the awesome charity streams here.
But absolutely, this is one of my favorite games, an absolute passion game to me. And I think the same for Cosmos over here. We are both definitely with an affinity for more of the alternative rhythm games than some might go for. This is certainly an example. For me personally, this was one that really got me into rhythm games and just stole my heart, and I just have been hooked ever since.
It's absolutely a gem, a very unique kind of rhythm game, not too common. The mechanics, I know Bumbo describes the ribbons being similar to Rock Band, and I agree with how you sort of read the notes like that, but I think just playing the game is very unique to a lot of other stuff that you might see in rhythm games.
So we're going to start here on Pure Sunlight. You might have noticed I skipped the first song in the set list of this. Not necessarily my favorite. You might have recognized it, Bass Cannon. It's one of the rare charts, the only one that I don't care for the song or the chart itself. So we're going to start with Pure Sunlight. I also think this is a great introduction for the game. What we got here, I'll let Cosmos explain in further detail, but it's a twin stick shooter. You'll see me move the ship with the left stick here, target enemies, and shoot with the trigger, with the right stick and the right trigger, respectively. And like Cosmos said, there's some ribbon tracing. That'll become apparent very soon. And if any of that is a little bit unclear, or I didn't explain it well, keep an eye on that controller in the corner there. Might give you a better idea.
So, songs in Aaero are really well split into multiple different types of sections. You have shooting sections as well as ribbon tracing sections. Here at the start of the song, this shooting emphasizes how shooting on the first and the third beat will net you more score, as well as the bullets traveling to the enemies a bit quicker, so they don't have time to fly into you. The ribbon tracing is where that accuracy counter in the upper left comes into play. As you can see, it's always on the outside of the stick, keeping the ship moving around the circle is the outer edge of your controller's range.
And like Cosmos was saying, it's very directly correlated to the stick and going around that circle. Because of that, of course, and the twin stick nature, hard tied to a controller to have to play this. There is a way that's been found to make a keyboard and mouse work, but it's definitely not recommended for the best game feel, in my opinion.
The tunnel TM is a longer section in the song. Flying down this tunnel introduces the green orbs.
As well as these walls that you gotta dodge just in general, as opposed to enemies or moving with the ribbon. Another way that you move the ship around, or a reason to.
Another note about playing on controller versus a keyboard setup would be having the rumble from the controller
Correct.
will be more intense if you are getting a higher accuracy on the ribbon. So that is a great feedback tool for knowing how close you are to ribbon.
And you'll notice I actually got a curved shot there, which means it wasn't correctly timed. How that works is the enemies will always explode on the correct beat. So if you shoot correctly, you'll have very quick shots, as it'll explode the enemy immediately. If you shoot off-timed, it'll take a longer time to hit, because it needs to wait all the way until the correct beat to explode.
Definitely agreeing with Bumbo here. Pure Sunlight is a pretty great introduction to the game with a pretty simple ribbon with enemies that aren't too intense.
Absolutely, and displays a lot of mechanics like Cosmos said. The green orbs are apparent for the first time in here. You got the obstacles to dodge. So one thing I did not mention, I will be doing donation score goals, I guess you could say, based on where I place on these scores for each run. Cosmos over there, it's being so lovely to tally up them all, and I've got different levels for each. So if we're going outside of top 10, which this one is looking like, definitely, so below 5s pretty much, that'll be a $10 drop. I'm shooting for around top 5s, so 4 or 5 will be a $5. Top 3s will be $20. If I get a first, that's going to be a $50. And if we get a PB anywhere, that'll be a $10 extra on top of that, whatever score it was. So if you want to match me on these donations, feel free to at home, but definitely don't feel obligated. It's just something I wanted to do to match my set, and obviously give something for direct relief here.
Also, yeah, don't forget that Aaero raffle going on.
Thank you for reminding me.
A couple of keys for Aaero on multiple platforms, so definitely go out there and donate. The Tiltify link, I'm sure, is somewhere. Sequence is a great song for introducing, as Bumbo said last time, the walls, but these blue and red color schemes for various obstacles that you may have to avoid, using the blue color to represent a safe path, and then the red definitely dangerous. One thing to note about the color red that we were talking about earlier, a lot of these bullets that the enemies shoot are red, and those you don't actually have to shoot on time to get a maximum score. The bullets themselves don't actually provide points. So if you manage to shoot the enemy all in time and there's some bullets left over, those can be shot off time with no consequence. That also remains true for sometimes in the level itself. You will see red secrets that Bumbo might shoot. Those are secrets that are worth 1,000 points and also are affected by the multiplier. Shooting those on time is not required, and you still always get the proper amount of points from them. Sequence, I think, also has this very fun ribbon pattern where you have the intro to the song is this intense, very movement-oriented ribbon.
Oh no.
Oh,
So that's
no.
a 20. That's a 20 for failing as well. Forgot to mention. 3s are
That'll be
20s.
20.
Top 3s are 20s. That's really disappointing. I'm better than that. But you can get a good description of Master Mode right now and a different variation of the difficulties. We're on Master Mode right now, meaning we have a 1 life. So if any of the bullets hit us or anything like that, that's it for us.
That'll be the end of the song. The game is split into normal, advanced, and master. Normal and advanced, you'll have 3 lives to give you a little bit of leeway. And in normal, there's, in fact, even less enemies. one instance of a single ribbon being slightly altered, but for the most part, it's enemies per this song that really gets changed up, and it becomes a ribbon accuracy battle. Master, though, they take away those 2 extra health bars and they do the whole level without dying. And it can be pretty intense in some songs if you miss the single bullet or miss one target on an enemy to turn off all you're doing.
Fortunate thing is we dropped very early on, so I don't feel too bad in having y'all listen to the beginning of this song again. Hope y'all don't mind, of course.
That is definitely a great thing to talk about. The music in this game is absolutely phenomenal. Aaero itself doesn't have any custom charts at the moment, but it is a bass game rich with so many different lots of great drum and bass, lots of good bass in general. Like I not asked, some say Advanced is better than Master. Care to comment? Advanced is very similar to Master. But yeah, the second part of the chart here, giving more of a accuracy test with these straight lines and then sporadic enemies. A bit more different than the super bouncy ribbon from the beginning of the chart.
Made it through. Finally. I'm dripping sweat as well over here, pardon me. We got this heat wave going on, of course, but it's half from these hot beats. So that'll be just outside of 5s. Of course, counting along at home. That'll be it for the first set from us on that bit. I don't necessarily like these 2 charts, as I said. Happy is great, I'm really bad at it. Cosmos is incredible at it. It takes a lot of finesse for it. But we will be moving on to the next set list here, which is, if you notice with these, it kind of had a theme of a desert. You can see from these pictures from the other ones we didn't play as well. Now we're moving on into a destroyed city, and you'll see a little bit why the city's destroyed in the last song of the set, Their Revenge. But this one might be a familiar one for y'all. I Can't Stop, Flux Pavilion. A great example of a song I don't really care for, but the chart is undeniable.
Yeah, as Bumble was saying, these sets are kind of broken down into the themes in between the levels, all having a shared sort of world-building experience up into the boss at the end of the level, which we will see here shortly. But they also sometimes introduce new varieties of enemies, which will change how you have to shoot, how you approach shooting in general.
Exactly.
This ribbon in particular is a lot of fun to play, can be deceptively tricky, but not, I don't think it's actually hard because it flows so well in the play. Dudes donated $10 to fix your ship, which allows me to bring up how the different custom ships in this game do provide some different ways to visually approach the ribbons. It doesn't actually change gameplay. Personally use a ship that I feel like I can see the center of the ribbons a little better. Soul is a great ship as well.
Exactly, that's definitely one of the things that's a lot more preference. But as Cosmo said, they definitely give you different visuals when you're hitting the ribbons, and there can be enough variation that, for the same reason, I prefer the Soul ship. Of course, if you get those donation incentives in, all of these Aaero copies are for the complete edition, which not only includes all of these ships, but also the DLC packs.
Which I honestly cannot wait to see that DLC. This song does a great job of showing shooting timing for enemies having some nice visual cues with the rings around the ribbon, but also sometimes that the rings can be a trick, and that still keeping a internal sense of rhythm for when to shoot the enemies is always important as well.
It's Stockholm Syndrome with that song. For me, when I play it, I start to vibe with it by the very end, always. Just from hearing it too much. Switching into some kind of monster here. This is a great example of songs in this game that I never knew of before. Started playing this game, started listening to the soundtrack, and just got turned on to so much good music that I probably would not have found before. This one being a prime example of pretty much the whole soundtrack and what it can offer.
I think I definitely some kind of monster is a full song experience like that represents Aaero in every aspect of the game, from the brutal enemy sections where shooting becomes really important to this ribbon that can be very in your face and expect a lot from you. Just got another $10 donation from the Tuggernaut. Thank you, friend.
Hey, thank y'all.
Aaero player.
Thank y'all so much. It really means a lot. Of course, going directly to a great cause. Pun intended, we're going to direct relief, of course, for today's support. I really appreciate it, y'all.
This level also returns those color patterns on the architecture of the level, being a visual cue for where the safest path through the level is going to be. I think the level also does a good job of introducing more enemies as the level continues to go on, as well as changing some of those visual cues in the tunnels with the crushy thingies that are blue and red. We'll start to have both blue and red on the same one, so making reading the level a little bit trickier the longer it goes on, which again, I think ties into Aaero as an overall as well.
Exactly, and it's that constant progression and development that also carries over in just growing and playing with this game. It's one of my favorite things about it, because obviously you have the shot timings, but the thing is that's actually a lenient window on that, and becomes a lot of the background emphasis instead of the ribbon accuracy, which becomes the main focus. And because it's based on how close you are on the ribbon, 100% is feasibly impossible, but anything below should be attainable. So the idea is there's always that room for improvement, and you also see when you get these runs. You get a run that you thought you could do better on, and turns out it was actually a really good run. And then you go, okay, but I can do even better than that. And it's just that constant encouragement to keep pushing and getting better. That's pretty much why I've sunk 200 hours plus into these base game songs alone.
Katie on a Mission here being an absolute gem of a song. Fantastic ribbon with a lot of tight movement that may look really intense upon first playthrough, but is actually really natural and charted really well to the song here. So we've got a $5 donation from Kevin202. You can always rely on Nugs to rep Aaero, and $10 from Dot Phase. Nugs, we love you, fam.
Oh my god, I love you guys.
For changing every note color to for, I believe, this is DJ Max. I might be wrong about the game here.
Love to see it, guys. Thank you so much. You guys know me too well. I want to show this game off as much as possible.
The second shooting section of the song can be very intense and makes for a very cool section of the song. $20 donation from Aaero. Let's get day 3 going. Agreed, everyone get hype. Day 3 is only just starting out and can only go up. Going to Couples Boot Camp 2 extra stage. Katie on a Mission bringing back the green orbs. Haiti on a Mission is one of the Aaero songs where the leaderboard's a bit more optimized than some of the other songs with a lot of super bendy ribbons. Because so many of these ribbons are so straight and it's very easy to follow the path, it can be pretty tight in the scores at the top of the song.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Obviously that being a decent run, but still just barely scraping outside of 5s. Some of these songs are definitely very tight, and it shows just the love people have put into this game. So we're going to move on to a boss song here, which the boss songs, like I said, we skipped the first one, and we're going to actually skip the one after this in the next set list. But this is a good one to showcase nevertheless, besides the fact that it's the only one I'm good at. These boss songs are definitely for y'all that are more inclined for the timing aspects of rhythm games and might not want the ribbon accuracy themselves. This one especially is probably the lightest, if not the lightest, ribbon song chart. But because of that, a lot of it turns into getting the exact shot timing, getting all the targets so you can get all the shot times with the maximum points, and it very much becomes about the timing and about, just that precision, timing, rhythm, shots.
Yeah, the shots on this one definitely take more of a front stage than the ribbon in it. Actually, I would argue this song probably has the shortest ribbon in the entire game. It is definitely more about lining up your 1s and 3s very consistently. Boss songs in general kind of change up the way the game works, not too much, but you have a boss health bar and a pass or fail condition, honestly. You either defeat the boss or you don't. The ribbon does play a role where getting higher accuracy on that ribbon will decrease the boss's health bar, but it is all about the shot timing here. You'll notice Bumbo take the hit from that spider web. It does not actually affect your score or your multiplier or change anything really, because there's no movement that you need to do during the section. So you can take that first one and just ride it out for this entire section. An important thing to note about targeting is the targeter can hold up to a max of 8 shots before it caps out and you can't target anymore. In the beginning of songs, in general, it is better to get max shots as it'll increase your multiplier faster, but after you have an 8 times multiplier, it becomes less important, except for during boss songs where getting that max shot is definitely going to get you more score because you can continuously shoot the boss over and over and over again.
Yeah, they're just giant point sponges, so obviously as many shots as you can get, you're going to get more score. And so obviously we killed it, but if you don't manage to kill it, you will die from the spider. Each boss has a specific death animation and a specific when you die animation when you lose. So we're gonna roll up on a kind signal here, switching into the third set and the final set of the base game. Once again, we're switching areas. This is the water zone. and personally my favorite set of songs. It's a shame I can't show off more of them, but that's due to this song being incredibly tricky, this song being spicy with Perhaps Dying, good thing I already got that out of the way, and this song being no good at it, but it's a great song nonetheless.
Yeah, this third set of stages definitely amps up the difficulty in multiple ways. A lot of hot camera movement. You've got new enemies that are a lot harder to keep track of, and then just overall the amount of enemies and the ribbon movement in general that is expected of you. It comes a lot harder than the first couple of songs in the game.
Yeah, the ribbons definitely amp up, and the songs itself, difficulty, I would say, amps up as you go along.
I don't know if I said this one, but Fallen Dino donated $15 and sent spin share. I imagine this was back during Katie on a mission.
Yeah, you know. Great to see you, man. Once again, thank y'all for coming out and entertaining my absolute love for this game. I could gush about this all day.
I think Aaero is the indie project. I know I found it on sale one day, and I believe Ummo also similarly found it on sale one day. And both just were taken in by this unique game and how much passion the devs clearly had for this interesting project. I like to think of Kind Signal as almost a sequel to Sequence from that first set, where it's back-ended by this super accuracy straight ribbon part with a couple of enemies that now a lot harder.
And yeah, once again, touching on just the absolute love the devs show this game, as well as the community. They're the ones that provided us with all the codes today to be able to give to y'all, and for the giveaway, just because they saw me wanting to showcase this, just goes to show the absolute love for the community and the support they're constantly giving. They've got the whole Mad Fellows Discord, and they're just nothing but love in there, and it's honestly a great community. So Get Crazy, definitely one of, if not my favorite songs and charts in the game.
Get Crazy, as well as Some Kind of Monster in the second set of songs, I think makes for a great setup into the boss for this stage, highlighting what the ribbons in this section is like, and the shooting the enemies on a pretty low BPMs for this game. And this is a ribbon that visually can look very simple, but to actually play very accurately is very challenging to master. this shooting section in general has a pretty intense ending where making sure you are effectively targeting everything and shooting on every possible beat you can. And another $10 ensues for taking on the role of exterminator and killing that spider till it died from it, and then some. Also towards changing the colorness to gray and walking. My bad earlier.
Some get crazies in chat. Hope y'all are getting crazy.
The song just gets me so annoyed. I always forget how intense it can be with that super heavy bass rhythm.
Third place, we'll take those, another 3. Do some quick maths, and looks like we should actually be able to hit Edge of Tomorrow for y'all. Give a little showcase of probably one of the trickiest ribbons in the game.
In terms of the overall chart, I would agree Edge of Tomorrow is probably one of the hardest ribbon charts in the game. Asking a lot from the player throughout the course of the whole song. There are some individual ribbons in other songs that might be a little trickier, but also, I believe we saw one of these enemies earlier, but the shield enemies, if you don't destroy all those shields altogether, they will come back in the order they're shot, so it can make it rather difficult to make the shield stay consistently down for you to destroy that enemy.
Absolute pain, to say the least.
And then the bendy ribbons with the camera shifting back and forth. Very hard to follow.
Definitely some of the hardest ribbons for me to play, and why I don't like Ill Still or Split the Atom charts.
Bendy ribbons definitely a trickier ribbon to read rather than just the more vertical or even just some basic moves. You have a $20 donation from Sammy. Love for the Bumbo himself. Shout out. Shout out Bumbo indeed. Pro
Thanks so
Aaero
much, Sammy.
gameplay for a great charity.
Now we get into the real meat of the ribbons.
Yeah, the second half of the song is intense enough.
definitely a reason this is the song with the lowest accuracy for the top scores.
Yeah, it is a wildly varied leaderboard on this one. This that ending section of the song can be make or break in a lot of runs.
So we're gonna break off of the base game here, break into the DLC packs, starting off with 1,000 Days Wasted to get absolutely hyped for these. If you all like drum and bass, this is the drum and bass pack. This is it. It's right here. Can't say much more except for let me see your hands in the air.
Yeah, I want to see everyone's hands in the air. Rage is fast. It's non-stop. It's very ribbon heavy.
Almost breaking combo there.
Definitely my favorite song in the DLC and the game in general.
Very fair.
Even though the ribbon itself is really just one long ribbon that ends up getting reversed and shared, and a few small overlap differences, but I do just get a shout out. I know that this is Bumbo's favorite shooting section in the game.
It's too satisfying. Ooh, that one got me sweating. It's too hot.
Rage is also a great example in introduction to the 1,000 Days Wasted charts, as you see at the end the spider tying into the second set of songs, and each one of the 3,000 Days Wasted songs does a great job of tying into the base game sets that they're kind of pulling from in terms of themes and enemies. You have a $10 donation from Dama. Great job on your set so far. Also, change every nut color to gray for Waka. Definitely get hyped for that later, y'all. I think it looks like we're getting lots of donations for that, so maybe we'll actually see it.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Dama. Once again, cannot say how much I appreciate all love and support you guys are giving us here.
It's nice relaxing section in the chart to cool off after that ribbon before right back into these very get crazy-esque ribbons.
This, along with some kind of monster, rival get crazy for my favorites. And it's certainly clear to see why this one. Nice little relaxing part, even longer. Just take a sip of water and cool down.
Those shield enemies, like I said before, if you don't take out the shields all at once, can definitely prove to take a while to take down.
And that'll be 1,000 days wasted pack there. Heavy drum and bass, so many cat jams. We're gonna move on to the Monster Cat DLC here. For the last few songs. The last 2 songs. And these ones might be a little bit more familiar as they are Monster Cat licensed.
Yeah, Outsiders and We Won't Be Alone, the first 2 songs in the Monster Cat pack, are fantastically charted and have some of the tightest leaderboards in the game because of how approachable they are as charts, I believe, and definitely, in my opinion, a great cap to this wonderful game.
Couldn't agree more. I was gonna say, I would say the first part definitely extends the whole pack. Not the easy to play for Echoes of the Past, which we unfortunately won't be featuring, but still an incredible chart.
Oh, absolutely.
And another rival for honestly one of the trickier ribbons as well. Cosmos, do you want to explain the sparks a little bit for the ribbons?
So yeah, the beyond just having a rumble on the controller for accuracy on ribbon, you can also use the visual cue of sparks flying off of the ship and the ribbon as a good indicator for how close you are to the center of that ribbon for a higher accuracy. Obviously, the further away you get from the ribbon, it actually starts to fade out and turn red. And then the closer you are to it, you will see sparks flying from the center of your ship all the way out to the edges of the screen, and makes for a really good way to tell if you're not just on the ribbon, but directly in the center of the ribbon, which at the higher levels of play on one really long straight ribbon, a minor adjustment to be more centered can make or break a run.
Exactly. And that's why these songs just have such tight accuracies for the leaderboards.
I think something like a chart like Gate Crazy, where your movement in between ribbons can be more left up to the player on what feels most effective of going from one ribbon to another ribbon in the ship movement in between. But I feel like the implied movement from these ribbons is very well felt, and it makes a lot of sense to just follow a path in between ribbons that may not actually exist.
Definitely agreed. So we'll be closing out with the last song here. Once again, thank y'all for coming out. Obviously, we'll give a bit of a closeout just briefly at the end, but you might recognize this one. I think it's a great one to close out on. And in Beat Saber, I believe in a couple other games as well. This is a real great one. We Would Not Be Alone. I think it ties in great with Direct Relief here.
Definitely don't forget to go donate.
Please, please, please. What you can, if you can.
Interesting fact about the small red banners in those tunnels. They, as I was saying earlier about how the bullet notes glow red and you don't have to shoot those on time, those red glowing items are actually enemies and you do have to shoot them on time. It is, I think, the sole instance of that in the game.
That I can think of, definitely. Once again, thank y'all so much for coming out to watch me just absolutely gush over this game. Like I said, it's an absolute passion game for me. Love the heck out of it. Pretty sure Cosmos is the same way. I actually met her from streaming Aaero. Either I or her popped into each other's. But once again, if we don't have the donations incentives up for this, that should be sorted very shortly. Definitely peek that for some copies of the complete edition. as well as a giveaway going on. Additionally, if you would like to get it, maybe a gift or just not donate and get it, it is on the Steam summer sale for $2 right now. If you got $2 to spare, grab it up. I would say you have no excuse, but I totally understand. Cosmos, if you got anything else, all I can say as well is definitely tune in for the rest of the sets tonight and the rest of today. In 2 hours, Dama, or in 1 hour rather, after the next set, Dama, our good friend and a great person, will be streaming Sayonara Wild Hearts, and Cosmos will be narrating that, commentating. So I'll pass it off to her as well to sign off.
Well, thanks for having me, Bumbo. It's always great to watch you play Aaero. Yeah, it's been a wonderful event, and I hope to see lots more donations come in. There were so many for this part, and hopefully we can reach the 4,000 stretch goal by the end of the day, because this has been a great start to today.
It's been a wonderful start. Thanks so much for having me, organizers, hosts. You guys have been doing incredible. The rest of y'all on the sets have been doing incredible. I can't wait to watch the rest of day 3. Once again, thank y'all so much for coming out. Appreciate it.
Everyone thanks Nugs for playing that great session in Aaero. Up next, we're gonna have Windu and Spoody playing some ITG couples, going through the whole gamut of couples boot camp. Hey, remember that all day, this is the final day of Link of 2, and we are raising funds for direct release COVID-19 outbreak response. Here in the United States and across the world, emergency aid, funding, PPE, and vaccines are urgently needed. Your collective donations help direct release mission in providing distribution and financial assistance across 105 countries. You can go to linkup2.stormxleague.com. We got a lot of donation incentives, including song requests for the next block of ITG couples with Windu and Spoody. Hey, Windu and Spoody coming up next. Stay tuned.